Right, boys. Hope everyone had a good week. Talk to me about some dad wins and fails that you've had.
I've had a couple fails over at my house.
Ooh, nice.
More about like kids getting hurt, when they're trying to, it was always around me for some reason. My one daughter, I'm sitting on the stairs to our basement, and it was like kind of later in the night, and we're getting ready to tell them like we got to clean up. And she comes over to see kind of what I'm doing, and we have a banister right there that's really sharp, and she just wasn't paying attention, and she just slams her head like right above her eye in this thing, and I'm like, oh man, and she just instantly just starts crying, right?
Yeah.
And
it's also under your watch as well. So
it's under my watch.
I failed.
Yeah, and that's how you feel. You feel terrible. So I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's not too bad. And then I look at it later, and there's like a gash there. And it just, she hit a spot where it wasn't blood, like real bloody, but it was cut open like, and so I was like, man, you just, like I said, you feel terrible. Yeah. And then my other daughter,
well, did you have to get stitches or anything?
No,
or
no stitches. Yeah, no, we didn't even take her in.
Yeah.
So because it just wasn't bleeding, so we did some Neosporin, and then the next day it actually scabbed up.
Oh wow!
Like really quickly.
Oh,
so I was thankful because of that. Because I know depending on what you hit, right, it can change that situation a lot. And then my 2-year-old, she, as soon as you put her down, like if you're carrying her, she just takes off. Which you guys, I'm sure you know this.
She's like one of like crank up to the
She is. She does not stop.
She should meet my 2-year-old.
Okay. Oh yeah. They probably conquer the world pretty quickly. She does not stop ever. So anyway, we're in the kitchen, hardwood floors, and I think my wife or I put her down. We're close by. She takes off, trips over my foot, immediately, and just boom. Doesn't have the hands to stop yet.
Oh,
smashes her head right in her forehead. So she's got this big lump on her head. And again,
now when your kids, not to cut you off, when your kids do that, are you guys like you guys rush to help and or do you guys go like
I play dead. I play dead. I'm like, don't acknowledge it.
We're always like, oh, safe at first, or something dumb like that.
Well, it's funny because I always go to like the correction first, like shouldn't be running in here, you know what I mean? Which I'm sure is infuriating because I look back, I'm like, that's not helpful.
And even in your life now, you don't want people to tell you like, shouldn't have been driving that fast, and you can be like, screw you.
It's always
that's it.
Should have been running my feet, kid.
It's like I'm really trying to like stop doing that so much and be like, "Are you okay?" first, and then I give them the lesson. But
that's funny. That's good. That's good. What about you?
So this week I found out. So I'm turning 40 in a couple days, and man, I found out I'm actually like old. Like there's one thing of turning old. It's another thing of like being old. And here's how I found this out. I bought a pair of Nikes online, and they're not like the Nike Monarchs. They're not like the like old school ones. But these are like I pulled them out of the box, and I was like, well, I mean, they're not like stylish. And I try to be a stylish guy. Like I've always been a stylish. Like my wife she's incredibly beautiful, and she is insanely stylish. Like she will wear uncomfortable shoes if they look good. She is just incredibly stylish. Yeah. And I used to be like okay with that. I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, I just want comfort. I really could care less about style. Everything is about comfort. So I get these shoes out of the box, and I'm like, I try them on. I'm like, these are ridiculously comfortable shoes. And so I go to my one son. I'm like, hey, are these old people shoes? He's like, yeah, they're not young people shoes. I'm like, well, I mean, are these cool looking? He's like, I mean, you can wear them.
Tells you everything you need to know.
And the thing is like, maybe a couple years ago, I'd have been like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to return them, and I'm going to get something cooler. And I was just like, screw it, man. It's comfortable. I can care less.
Yeah.
So if we see some orthopedics walking around.
I'm going to walk around with the Dr. Scholl's orthopedics, all black shoe before too long.
What's the sketches? The ones that like move, like
the Joe Montana slip-ins.
Yeah. We're all turning into our fathers, guys, slowly but surely.
That's funny. That's
great.
funny.
How about you, Naveed?
I'll round it off with another fail because I feel like the last couple of weeks have been a little bit like lovey-dovey with our dad wins. So we are, and this sounds crazy to say, but we're like touring preschools right now or pre-K or whatever, right? So it's it's kind of ridiculous. And we looked at one. We looked at one yesterday, and I went to my wife and I had different sort of educational backgrounds. And I went to a private school, like growing up, but it was like a Christian non-denomination private school. And so we looked at something very similar yesterday. But my wife and I, we were going back and forth on, is it good to do a faith-based education? Is it good to do like a non-denomination, et cetera, et cetera? Anyway, so we've been having this conversation for a number of weeks. And we roll up yesterday, and it was just, the weather was gross yesterday. We roll up. It's a long, winding sort of acreage to get to the front entrance. the minute we cross like the threshold of where it says, welcome to, the school, my daughter just starts gushing blood, nosebleed.
Exorcism.
We literally said that. So me and my wife are like big like science people, and like we looked at a house 4 or 5 years ago that we thought was the house that we were going to move into. And I'm not joking. This is no exaggeration. At one point, mid-conversation, my wife goes, well, the Christmas tree would look great over. And before she even finished the sentence, a window fell out. It wasn't windy. The window just fell out. And we looked at the realtor. We're like, no, thanks. We're actually okay. Yeah.
We're good.
Haunted. We're good. So my daughter's gushing blood. My wife was the one who was driving. It's like snowy and slippery. And she like turns into like Inspector Gadget super mom. She's got like, meanwhile, I'm like, where are the tissues? I'm like freaking out. She's like finding tissues out of nowhere. She's like one-handed, like driving, navigating this like winding road. She's like pinching my one daughter's nose here. It was actually amazing to see.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm like,
you're eating a hamburger and sipping your coffee.
Try not to get any
I did actually have a
try not to
coffee
get
in
any
my
out of the
hand.
car.
Yeah. I was wearing a white quarter zip. I was like, do you mind just like keeping the blood on that side? But it was funny because we were like, we literally had the same thing. The exorcism like comment. We were like, it's either a bad thing where the nose is bleeding, or it's a good thing because now the devil has been exorcised. Right. She's been really well behaved actually the last 24 hours. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's fun stuff. So let's jump into the main topic for today. So kiss the chef, dad's in the kitchen, and I figured I'd kick it off with a question for us. So, do you think dads approach cooking differently than mums?
Oh yeah, I mean, I would start with just the idea of like, as a dad, there's not like, I guess there's food groups. Like there are food groups, right? I know there's
Food pyramid.
Groups.
List of food groups.
I don't know. I know isn't there dairy in there somewhere? There's meat, dairy. I don't know, carbohydrates.
Dude, they're your groups.
I have no idea, man. But I do know that on average, a dad's like, all right, there needs to be meat, and there needs to be something else, and the something else really doesn't matter. It's like, at least from my perspective, it's like, what is the delivery mechanism for the meat? That's kind of what you're thinking of. So I think as a dad, like, it's very, very hard for me to like get behind like, okay, I got to make sure like my wife, when she makes dinner, it's like, she's got a starch, she's got a vegetable, she's got a protein,
right.
Everything is balanced, everything makes sense. Me, I'm just like, okay, what do we got here? And I think part of it is like, I never know what we have. So if I do any cooking,
true.
But I would say like for me, for my cooking, I'm more of like a stack the deck against me. Like when it's like there's nothing available, I'm like, okay, well, how can I do this?
Start getting creative.
How can I get super creative? Like, okay, I got some Italian sausage,
Got some cereal,
some Captain Crunch and broccoli,
Grated cheese.
All right, we got this.
blender.
So I think dads are more like I would say on average, dads are probably more like they want it to be more of a production, no matter what they do. So whether it's like hero ball or like I'm going to go buy the fillets, I'm going to go buy this, and everything's going to be perfect for my meal. Whereas at least in our house, my wife is more of the like the everyday consistent, like, okay, it's chicken and da whatever it might be.
Yeah,
So,
I'd actually define it as generalist versus specialist. So like I feel like a mom, or like my wife in particular, she's the generalist. She takes care of the shopping list, and for the most part, for the whole week, she's pretty good at like mapping out like what the meals are. And listen, with smaller kids, the meals are pretty standard. You know, you've got a rotation of 5 or 6 things that are in season or flavor of the month, whatever you want to call it. So I'd say she's very much the generalist.
Yeah.
Where I come in is as the specialist, it's ordering specific takeout.
Okay.
Picking up specific takeout, but then it's being the grill master, because I have, for the last 3-4 years been obsessed with like charcoal grilling, and it's a production. The whole thing's a production.
It's a commitment.
It's a commitment. It's a big commitment, right? And so it's also like just such an unnecessary fanfare and song and dance. Whereas like you could just on the stovetop in 6 minutes make the burgers. But I'm like, okay, well, I need 25 minutes lead time to like light the charcoal. Yeah. And I need another 15 minutes for them to get white hot. Then I need another 10 minutes to clean the grill. Then I need to get half an onion to clean that. Then I need a half a potato to make sure it doesn't stick. And then by that point, the sun's already come down. The kids are
The
pretty-
kids already eating
the kids are already
McDonald's. They're
eating.
going
Yeah.
to bed.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I forgot to season the steaks, so we're not doing anything anyway. So I'd categorize it as I have a few specialist roles / meals, but my wife takes care of everything as a generalist.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I think it really comes down to a lot how you were raised, right, and what you saw in your family, to like the take that you have.
I think
on
we all know
cooking.
what we saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, I got married when I was 29.
Okay.
So I had quite a bit of time on my own,
Yeah.
right? So I had to learn to kind of fend for myself.
Yeah.
I was a super picky eater growing up. My mom was a great cook, made really good food, and it wasn't until I went to college that I was like, oh my gosh, what have I been missing out? Like I gotta eat this every day, and whatever they put in that food, it does not agree with anybody.
Yeah.
So I think like that had a big impact. So I started cooking on my own before I got married a little bit. I kind of I figured like,
Yeah.
hey, if I'm gonna make something, I should make it try to be
Yeah.
good. And then I started like asking my
But you're
my mom.
so are you a good cook or you?
I mean, I would say that I'm like I can cook decently well. I don't know if I would say good, but like after you do it enough times,
If I'm
you start
coming
getting
home for dinner,
comfortable.
if I'm coming over your house for dinner, are you going to try to tackle the cooking, or is it like, no, I wouldn't do that?
I've done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So you're a good
I've tackled the
cook.
cooking.
You're a good
You're a
Yeah.
good cook.
Because
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
be
I
like,
would not.
there's
at all.
no chance.
No.
My wife is a great cook too.
But if you
so
want to grill, I'll make you something. Like
yeah.
You
Summertime.
need to give me like a 7-hour lead time, and then I'll.
And I have two temperatures when I grill: rare or well done. That's it. There's no in between.
the best is family barbecues where I'll go around and be like, medium rare, medium rare. Okay, rubber tie for everyone. That's
great.
all you can
Yeah,
do.
that's
That's all you
great.
can do.
So yeah, I think the approach to cooking. My wife though does cook. She's a good cook too, and she
Yeah.
came from a family that eats really well.
Yeah.
So I think again, like that's part of it. Like we want to eat well. And
Yeah.
You do have to.
Well,
take
talk to
some
me
time
about
to
how
do
like
that.
the kids then dictate stuff. Like, when you put things together, do you put stuff together with the kids in mind, or do you put it together as like, well, this is what we're eating, and everyone just has to eat it?
So the weekdays, my wife's in charge of that.
Yeah.
So I usually try to chip in the weekends.
Yeah.
But so during the week, it's like one meal gets made.
Yeah.
And everybody has a chance to eat it.
Yeah.
And there's some where we're like, it's probably not going to be high consensus on this one, but if my wife felt like making it, she's going to make it anyway. So, and then you have the the stuff that's like the easy stuff that is always a
Yeah.
hit. Which
Are you
is
guys big microwave guys, or are you kind
Chef
of
Mike?
like, yeah.
If someone ever comes out of a restaurant and says Chef Mike, that's what they're talking about.
I don't know. Like I would say the same. Like we are very much the same. We have so many kids. We're like we
Yeah.
make one dish,
You
and
have to.
we don't like we're not gonna deviate from that. Microwave. I would say like we'll do certain things. Like you can do rice in the microwave. You can do those things.
Yeah.
But any protein. Like even like nuggets. Actually, the air fryers kind of changed it as well because the air fryer is like a game changer
just
when you're
about to say
talking
the
about
air
like
fryer is a
nuggets
game
and stuff.
changer. Yeah.
But like we're not a microwave.
Makes everything rubbery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it
It
rubbery,
does,
like
yeah.
like
bad.
wet. Like
Oh, what do
yeah.
these kids know? Yeah. Now I know. Do you guys have your kids help you in the kitchen?
For dinner time, they more like in charge of right now with their ages, like set the table.
Yeah.
And help like maybe pour drinks and get drinks
Okay.
out there.
Yeah.
And
That's
so-
brave.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
A lot of spills go on.
Yeah.
And then the kids like to help my wife more with like baking. That's
Okay.
where they've like
Baking's a good one, yeah.
they've like stepped into more of like my one daughter. She's like, I want to be a baker someday.
Yeah.
And so she really enjoys like getting in there and mixing
Yeah.
it up with that. And
Yeah.
that's a good first step. Right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What about you?
I would say like my wife does a really good job as they get older
Yeah.
because she grew up in a house where her mom cooked everything, very
Yeah.
good cook. She's a great cook, but she wasn't always a great cook, right? Like she had to like learn how to do it, and so she tries to help, like especially my daughters. She tries to help them, like, okay, this is how you cook, and she'll usually bring one of them along and be like, oh, do this with the broccoli for me, or do this with the whatever for me. So she tries to help them along. But I would say kids are more helpful in like not I mean, helpful is air quote helpful on like breakfast food, right? Like breakfast is a little bit easier, right? Because
Yeah.
you can be like, oh, help me crack the egg, and like they'll get eggshells in it, but you can kind of pick them out or whatever. It's a little bit more direct, as opposed to like like, oh no, chicken's got to reach an internal temperature of whatever. So you got, like those
Sear this chicken breast.
sear this
and
chicken,
then, make a little
sear
sauce
this off,
afterward.
and yeah.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Our I'd say maybe 2 dad hacks. One is, and my wife started this, is I think once a week we'll make a family pizza.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and it's kind of pre-made dough, right? But you get to roll out the dough, you get to put like the sauce on. And the best thing is I don't know if you guys have this with your kids, but we've got like chopping utensils for our kids. So it comes with like a cutting board,
Yeah, we
a
have
reasonably
that.
like safe knife,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. And so like the peppers, they'll cut them, the olives, like all that kind of stuff, they'll cut them, which is actually like a really good activity. My wife's obviously like good at chaperoning that. I'm kind of like sweating in the background, and not because like the kids may cut their fingers. I just look at it and go, well, these are really poorly cut. So I'm like,
Like I like my olives
Yeah,
cut
yeah.
uniformly.
Excuse me, daughter. You go, I'm going to send these back.
again.
It's raw.
So I'm kind of like, trying to you know navigate all of that stuff. But yeah, so homemade pizzas or pizza night with the kids is a fantastic one. But the other one is we've done this a bunch as well, is breakfast for dinner. We do a lot of breakfast for
That's
dinner.
fun. Yeah.
And it's like the whole like shebang of things. So like big on like hash browns, big on like eggs is a great one where like the kids can mix everything and crack them and whatever else. But that's kind of like you know, in a pinch or whatever, it's one of those ones where like the kids are going a little bit sort of stir crazy and we're like, all right, well we need a longer period of time to like engage them. You know, about a half hour of getting them to do that. That usually tends to work. That works pretty well. Have you had any like bad cooking fails? Like anything that like either with the kids or your wife?
Yeah,
or...
pretty much every other time I cook.
I used to always say there's a 50-50 shot we're ordering pizza.
This is gonna be great or it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, I did have one. My wife was gone, so I was with the kids, and
Yeah.
and again they like to bake. My one daughter likes to bake, so she's like, you could try to make some cookies with them. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I could tackle that.
Yeah.
So I had it
very
all in
brave.
the oven in 2 different like cookie trays, right? And I'm trying to like pull them out to switch
Yeah.
the top with the bottom. And I just let the tray at the wrong angle, and they all just half-baked cookies just fall all over the oven. So it just gets caked. So the whole thing had to be aborted. And
Yeah.
then not only that, now I have to spend 30 minutes trying to get chocolate chip, like melted chocolate chips outside of all the
Yeah.
oven. So that was a pretty recent one. That was
I'm bad with raw meats. Like I don't know if you're good with raw meats or not.
In turn, like handling them.
Handling the raw meats.
So I would say like chicken is, for whatever reason in my head, it's like danger. Like chicken,
too.
like
Me too.
chicken bothers. Steak doesn't bother me.
I-
Like red
I
meat
would
doesn't
agree.
bother me, and most of the time fish doesn't bother me all that much. But chicken,
I agree.
and I don't know what it is about chicken. I don't know if it's like the gooey goop that's usually inside the chicken package.
Well, it's also like the end product and the pre-packaging, they don't mentally align. Ground beef, you look at it and you go, okay,
Yep.
this is what I just opened the package with.
100%,
And even with a steak, it's the same thing. The chicken looks like it's some kind of like raw alien. And then it suddenly turns into whatever it needs to be. And then exactly like you, I err on the side of like my chicken being so well done that like it's so dry and I'm like forcing it down, being like, everyone enjoying this?
You're gonna like it. And what like chicken needs to be like, I don't know what, like 160 or
165,
something like that,
yeah.
165.
Yeah.
It's like right around 200. I'm like, I think it's cooked. it's like molten lava, and I'm like, I think we're okay. It's pretty good. It's like a brisket or a briquette, whatever. Yeah, I'm terrible at chicken. Steak I'm good with because you're like,
Yeah.
listen, internal temperature of like whatever, 125, 130.
Yeah.
You can kind of pretty much guess it's done. And the other thing that I have a problem with is shrimp. For whatever reason, I have no idea why. Because shrimp is so easy. Like
Cooks really fast.
It cooks
Really
super
easy.
fast. It is like, but that's what bothers me. You're like, really? 2 minutes and this thing's cooked?
Grow up.
Like, I don't think this is 2 minutes. This thing's going to get cooked.
I'm not trusting this
And
thing.
so, like, I'll cook. I have this one meal I make for my kids and I just invented this up, like, out of nowhere. We had mac and cheese and shrimp. This was one of those, like, things. We had, and I'm like,
Well, you get lobster mac and cheese.
right? There's lots of mac and cheese. I was like,
yeah.
I wonder if I could make like a shrimp mac and cheese, but not make it like make it a little bit different.
Sure.
So make the mac and cheese, put extra cheese, and it's freaking amazing mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Saute the shrimp, it's all just garlic butter, tons
Yeah.
of garlic butter, garlic whatever.
Yeah.
Saute them, and then mix it all together. And then I took a bunch of old breadcrumbs and then like put it on top, almost like a brulee, and then put it
Yeah.
in the boil.
Nice.
My kids freaking love it.
That's awesome.
But the reason I bring it up is because like I know that the shrimp is cooked because I overcooked it. But still, the first couple bites of the shrimp, I'm like looking at it, being like, "It's all white in there, right?" And it has been like 5 to 10 minutes on the stove.
That's great.
And then it's been broiled after
that's
that.
funny.
It's
You just don't trust it, man,
I
no matter
still
what.
just don't trust it. I still don't trust it.
I actually stumbled upon a great
Yeah.
shrimp trick too. So this was in the summertime, and I was grilling steaks, and I had frozen shrimp. I just wrapped them in foil and put some butter in there, and I put it on the upper rack of the grill while I made the steaks.
Ooh.
And for whatever reason, like when we ate them, I was like, "Wow, this is so good!" And it absorbed all the flavor from the steak.
Oh,
all
like
the
you
char.
smoked the shrimp.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so I've done that a couple times now on my shrimp, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if they're done though. So you gotta, I don't know.
But like you say, fish you can eat raw. Red meat you can for the most part.
Some fish,
not
raw.
shrimp, dude.
Oh,
shrimp, no.
Try it.
They're crawling on the ground, eating all the poop of all the fish. That's what a shrimp is.
I actually saw something on Instagram.
Pretty disgusting.
About like the black line on shrimp is actually shrimp poop.
Yeah, it's shrimp poop.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's their poop trail.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
And
Devein those things and
my wife's family is from New Orleans, so like, they're huge into crawfish. Which, again, like there's a mental thing. And the first like 8 years of our marriage, I would not eat crawfish.
Yeah.
And now I'll eat them. I love them. They're all good, whatever. But like there's still something mentally.
Yeah.
The first bite, I'm like, is this thing cooked?
Yeah. What about like when you make stuff like for your kids? Like, how do you kind of handle their take on like your cooking? You mentioned like obviously making specialized meals for your kids that you've kind of freestyled, but like how fussy are your kids when it comes to the foods that you make?
We have like every kid's different.
Yeah.
So some will eat everything we put in front of them, and other ones they look at it and they just decide right then and there they're not going to eat it.
What's the most demeaning thing you've had to do with your kids? Because I've got like a bad one where you ever have. I don't know if you've ever ordered those like egg bites from Costco. So Costco has like these like
sous vide ones.
That's right.
Yeah,
Those ones. But they've got like multiple flavors. So one of the so you get like ones that have like meat in them, but then you get like some vegetable ones as well. And listen, they've clearly processed, but we looked at the vegetable one and we were like, oh great, like we'll give some vegetables to the kids.
Yeah.
When I say they are densely packed with vegetables, so you've got like, all the different colors, greens and reds and yellows and whatever else. My eldest decided that for some reason the red in the egg bite just offended her. She couldn't place the flavor, none of it. So I had like these eyebrow tweezers from my wife's like thing from her beauty kit, and I had taken the tweezer and like a mad scientist was taking these like red, like these.
You're playing. What was that game with the Operation?
Oh,
You're playing Operation with it.
That being said, it was actually kind of gratifying doing that because you're like pulling it out and putting it on the side, pulling it out, putting it on the side. You kind of feel like you've achieved something.
Yeah.
She still didn't eat it, but it's,
there you go.
There's 0% of that chance happening in our house. Like we're just eat what's in front of you. And to your point, like we have the same thing. We have some kids who really don't care.
Yeah.
But I would say since we have so many kids, does not matter what we serve, does not matter how it's served. Somebody's going to be offended by it. We're kind of just like, it is what it is. Like,
do you guys meal prep in your house?
We did for a while. We don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
but we used to do it like we used to have like at least a week or two of meal prep done.
Yeah.
Because at one point we had 8 kids under 8 years old.
Oof. Yeah.
Or something like that, 7 under 8. I don't know the exact number. And so it was like my wife and I we used to even pack their lunches going to school. We used to do a week of packing their lunches.
Wow.
But I'll have to show you a video of that.
That's a great video.
That's a production line,
dude.
right?
It is a production.
Yeah.
It's insane. So like everything, like our week would be like a Costco run, I don't know, 50 pounds of chicken, and then I would spend an hour, like literally an hour prepping chicken, which is taking out of the pack, filleting the breast, packing it into the bags, and so we would do that.
Well, it
sort
took
of
an
stuff.
hour because you spent 45 minutes prepping just to even touch the chicken.
Yeah. I mean, well, when you're doing 80 breasts, you're just like, oh my
that's
gosh,
so
this is
much.
stupid. Anyway, yeah.
Do you guys ever use the saying your taste, if your kids are picky and they're not eating something, that your taste buds change every 2 weeks, so try it again?
Yeah.
You ever heard that?
I've heard
heard
that.
that.
But I've never
I have
used that.
I'm sure it's not true, but
Yeah.
we're just every time the kids are like don't want to eat something, we go, look, your taste buds are changing. Like
Yeah.
about every 2 weeks.
You know what's
go
really,
ahead and try it again.
You know what's
And they
really
still
funny?
just
It's
stare.
funny you say that. Our one in our house, and I actually didn't realize we had a phrase until you just mentioned that, is ours is like, look at your muscles. So like if someone's like not eating, I'll be like, well, are you going to get big, strong muscles doing that?
Yeah.
And it's weird how like something like big, strong muscles is even a phrase in the house. It's because, she'll see like me and my wife working out. And so she just associates like working out with like, being healthy and being fit. So yeah, I think we kind of have adopted that, but I don't really realize that we were doing anything of that nature. What about like dad phrases? Like, do you feel like you have dad phrases? Like
around eating, around cooking, or
cooking?
around eating?
Yeah, cooking.
I can't think of any dad phrases. What do you got? What are your dad phrases? You have
like
like
you got some.
no, I don't
you got,
think
you got,
I don't.
you got a couple in there, right?
I like the pancake flip. So
if you can put my kids love my pancake. But go ahead.
but I did well. I mean, maybe you'll outdo me. But like when you're doing the pancake flip, I make it. It's like a production.
Well, it has to be. You're flipping a freaking pancake.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pulling it off like the stove, and then you're almost like gathering the audience around, and then like. But the best is like when like it's not quite ready to flip yet, so you have to like be like. Make up like so you're like stalling the crowd, like you're like, oh, would you mind getting me this or get me that or whatever.
I never told you the story of
when I was your age and pancakes weren't available. But then like when you do it, you it's just like there's a maybe a half a second of silence as you're waiting for like the magic in your kid's eyes to like see like what you've done. But like so not necessarily a phrase, but like I feel like there's often times where like it'll be like a big production. The charcoal grill, the same thing. Like there's something so manly about picking up like the charcoal in the whatever that thing is, and then you put it in and you see the flames go up, and there's always like a sound that your kids make. There's always like an ooh sound.
That's
so
great.
It's again less so phrases maybe, but more so like just the theatrics of cooking.
Yeah.
I'm a very theatrical person when it
I
comes to that.
don't think I mean I'm like again I cook so rare
Yeah.
that I'm not I don't
They call I do have the nickname of Breakfast Man in the house.
Oh, is
I
that a self-dubbed name or?
Yeah, probably.
my name is Breakfast Man to you
I have
now.
an apron that I put on. It's called me Breakfast.
Theme music that comes with.
Yeah, the apron.
Not to be confused with
Comes
my
out with
old
a headband on.
Just call me Breakfast Man.
It's just turkey bacon.
Yeah, I love breakfast. I've always loved breakfast. Always was like my favorite meal. But I will say, if you want to impress your kids too, if you could flip an egg without a spatula, you do it in a
that's good.
saute
Yeah.
pan. I
That's
mean,
good.
they always and as you grow, like you'll do 4 eggs, and you're just, you can get that down. You can get you'll earn some respect.
Yeah.
Respect in the streets.
You'll respect me. Flip this egg.
So my specialty it's a weird specialty. I started doing this. My wife was when we were having a lot of kids. She'd be like, during that week or two, I'd be kind of home helping her get around. We'd have, you always have leftovers when people drop food off. And so I started making these sandwiches, which is like leftover sandwiches. And I'd make these sandwiches. And dude, like I'm not good at many things.
Like what? Like lasagna between white bread?
No, and usually it's not lasagna. Usually be some like protein, so like a meat.
Okay, yeah.
And I would like take a meat and do something different to it. So if
Yeah.
it's whatever, and I'd make these sandwiches, which is basically like the hint to make a good sandwich is like garlic, salt, cheese. Like that's pretty much all you need on any protein,
Yeah, it's gonna
and
be
everyone's
good.
gonna be happy. It's
gonna be good.
right?
Yeah, I mean-
and butter. There's some
Yeah,
butter in there.
yeah.
So anyway, I'd make these sandwiches, and to this day, like my kids, when they know like if we have leftovers, they'll be like, hey, how about some dad sandwiches for tomorrow?
Nice.
Because we have a steak or something that we're
dad
taking home.
That's good.
So dad sandwich. Because we'll
That's good.
it's a lot of fun. It's like the one thing that I can like, and again, it's like that sort of like hero ball mentality. It's like, okay, how would I actually make this thing taste good and not taste like teriyaki chicken again?
Right, yeah,
So like,
yeah.
whatever it
Mix
might
it
be.
up.
So that's our big
Hero
that's my
ball
big-
is so true. Like it applies to anything. Like when you think about like budgeting or doing a project or like something around the house, like give me like scarcity of resources.
Yes.
And let me provide for this family.
It
But
may or may not be
nothing infuriates my wife because my wife is very good at cooking. She's like very, very good at cooking. And so there's times where and usually like on weekends and stuff, lunch is pretty simple, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's either leftovers from like the night before, or she'll have like a bunch of things that she's got like throughout the week from like a Costco run. And so lunch is kind of like a fend for yourself type thing. And so I'll look across and she's like, sauteed some breaded chicken for herself. She's chopped up some like vegetables. She's made like this artisanal salad like for herself. Okay, looks great. She'll look across, and so if you can kind of like do the flip and looking at what I'm doing, there's a can of tuna, barely drained,
Oh, man.
that's like in there. I'm looking for some mayo. We don't have mayo, so I'm like, okay, what is the same as mayo? Some
Olive
cottage
oil.
cheese. I've actually done cottage cheese and olive oil, so I've thrown that in along with chili oil, and I'm like mixing it up,
That is great.
and then I'm like, okay, do we have bread in the house? Okay, we don't have bread in the house. So what's similar to bread? I guess rice. So I'll like heat up some rice and I'm like pressing it down so it's like a bread of rice. And it's just disgusting. But at the same time, it's like 50 grams of
Great
protein.
macros.
Great macros.
My kid's so funny because I'll do the same thing. I'll open up a can of tuna in the house, and now all of them, if they're eating lunch, they go, "Oh!" And my little dog, my 2-year-old, will plug her nose, and it's just like she goes, "Yucky," you know. I'm like, guys, take it easy. You know, after a while, it's funny, but then it's like, I'm like, you can't even smell this.
Yeah. Don't sleep on cans of tuna. They are
in a
excellent.
pinch, they are huge.
I eat tuna pretty regularly to the point that like I was trying to like eat a lot of protein, try to get 200 grams protein a day, and I would just take 3 cans of tuna, throw them into a bowl, salt, pepper, and then mayonnaise. And it got to a point where like the mayonnaise was more of a hassle because when you're eating 3 cans of tuna, dude, it's
not easy to choke
intense.
down.
It is intense.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like,
You need something to like marinate.
yeah, and it'd be like, you'd start with crackers, and at the end of this like couple, like maybe a month or two, it would just be like the kids would walk in, and I'm just like, because lunch is similar in our house.
Yeah.
I mean, the little kids obviously we get food for, but like if you're over the age of maybe 12, you kind of fend for yourself.
yourself.
We're just, I'm just shoveling this in. They're just like, they all look at me like, oh, how in the world could you be doing that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm
principle.
wearing dad shoes now.
I'm
so
gonna give you
I'm not
one,
impressing anybody,
guys. One more mini dad hack is again in that same vein of just get food down your stomach. Do you ever add cottage cheese to your eggs? You ever done that?
I've never done it.
Guys,
I've heard
do not
good
sleep
things.
on
So you're talking about like scrambled eggs, but you mix in some cottage cheese.
Yeah, so the way I make it is like I'll get like a big mug, I'll crack 2 or 3 eggs in the mug, and then a half cup of cottage cheese, kind of whip it up real good, and then put it in the stove or on the stovetop rather.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I've heard it's good. Now, is that like a UK thing? Did you guys do that?
I don't think so. I think it's more of an Instagram thing.
Is it? I wasn't sure if you like, if it was. I've never heard of it until recently, and I was like, I wonder, but maybe it's Instagram.
No, I think it's more of an Instagram thing. Yeah, I'm still younger than you, so I think that's really what it is.
I don't even have an Instagram account.
Yeah. I know you're 40.
So you guys have like if you had to pick a signature dish, Andrew, you talked about the sandwiches.
I do my sandwiches. It's kind of my signature. Or like I make really good pancakes for the kids, which is not very challenging. But,
Mine would be either grilling something like in the summer.
Yeah.
So the burgers is my absolute favorite thing to do, and you can make them in so many different ways with like cheeses and like all the other seasonings and whatever else. So I'm a big burger guy in the summer, and then we get all the trimmings to go with it. So we always create like it's like a build your own burger bar in our kitchen or on our kitchen counter, which is awesome. So yeah, if I could do that, that would be awesome.
Nice.
But you?
I've been working on a Neapolitan pizza for a couple years, so I'm gonna get Italian fancy.
I feel like he asked that question just to flex on us.
Totally did.
I do a Neapolitan.
We're like pancakes and burgers.
Wait till my next one. There's another dish. It's one of the big Roman 4. It's called
Matt's cookbook at the.
Is it the pepper? Is it like the Parmesan bowl? Is it like the Parmesan bowl one, the pepper one?
No. Oh, cacio e pepe. Is that what you're referring? No, that's one of the other Roman big 4. Actually, I'm referring.
The big 4. Matt's big 4 in his cookbook.
These are the Roman classics. It's actually bucatini amatriciana. It's really good. Although
you have
they
to translate into English.
Yeah, it has guanciale in it, which I don't use because it's like the cheek of a pork. It's pork cheek. Yeah. But I can't find that anywhere, so you can use bacon.
Yeah.
So pretty much, it's just bucatini with bacon and onions. Pretty much.
Gotcha.
But the kids absolutely love it.
If we're listing body parts like cheeks, you and I have got this all wrong. I don't even know what part of the chicken I'm eating.
It was
the
red,
gizzard.
It was meat.
You and I are arguing about shrimp poop over
gizzard.
here, and he's trying to find the cheek of
He does something. He probably cooks the shrimp. He has like a mechanism to make it taste good. No. You save the mud trail and you mix it in with the.
Well, I feel like that's a good way to pivot now to listener corner. So I'll kick it off with a question. So what's your emergency dinner plan when everything goes wrong?
Well, outside of like just takeout, or
It could be either. It could be something you make, or it could be takeout.
yeah, I mean, obviously our emergency dinner plan is usually just like, okay, we can't do anything, it's takeout.
Yeah.
We're also big, like at least I am. My wife always gets, so she's always like, why are you doing this? So like, if it's just up to me, it's just like, listen, peanut butter and jelly has never failed anybody.
It has
Classic.
not.
You can always
Everyone
peanut
loves
butter.
No,
and
America
jelly.
was built on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you can have like Cheetos with it, I think that's a well-rounded meal. You have dairy, protein.
I think I know why all your kids have ADHD at this point. Red dye number.
No, this is all organic stuff. We got organic jelly,
organic Cheetos?
organic Cheetos. Yeah,
Seriously?
Yeah. Everything in our house is organic. We don't do any.
Okay.
But anyway, all that to say, it's like it's one of those things where we are like, for me. So I'm always like, listen, worst case scenario, grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
Or,
Actually, yeah, that's great.
Or peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Grilled cheese. It's just frozen pizza or chicken nuggets. Like we always have those in the house.
Yeah.
If we don't have those, we're in trouble.
Frozen pizza is a great one. Okay, so I won't pick the same. Ours is sushi.
Really?
Like a sushi takeout. We have a specific sushi restaurant that we like, and I think like how like you get indicators of like, are you maybe raising like slightly fancy kids?
I was gonna say your kids eating
sushi.
It's not even like, hey girls,
is this nigiri fresh?
It's not even like, girls, do you want like sushi? It's like I'll be like, my eldest will give me her order. She'll be like,
I'll take the yellow fin.
That's great.
how's the mahi mahi today? Is it, what's the catch of the day? No, she'll be like, I want a sweet potato roll, I want an avocado roll, I want edamame beans, and I want gyoza. And I'm like, okay, so that's $62 for you, kid. And the worst part is like, she doesn't even like eat the whole roll. What she does is she kind of takes it apart, and she just like kind of likes the seaweed.
Okay.
And so she'll like take the seaweed, and she'll just be like dangling it in her mouth and just like eating the seaweed, and then all the bits of the sushi roll she doesn't like, she then gives to her sister. So she'll be like, you take this. Like,
that's great.
Very, now, do you guys ever buy the seaweed stuff for kids?
Seaweed
like,
salad?
We've
the
done
seaweed
that.
Chips, like the
Oh,
seaweed.
yeah, we've done that in the past.
My kids, I think they stink. I think they're so
stink.
bad smelling.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
My
they
kids
smell bad.
love these things.
Huh.
They like every single day they want to pack them in, or pretty frequently they want to pack them in their lunches and whatever else. I think they smell terrible. I'm like, who in the world thought of like, hey, we're gonna get kids hooked on these seaweed things? And my kids like them. They like them. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, guys. Well, look, that was a lot of fun. Let's close it out with our next segment, which is Dad Interests. So maybe hit me. Up with
I'll start
Dad
out.
Interest.
You guys actually turned me on to the Acquired podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to Ben Gilbert. Actually, who's a Northeast Ohio guy.
He is a Northeast Ohio guy.
But I listened to recently the Starbucks episode where
Excellent
they
episode.
have Howard Schultz
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that added such a dynamic to the show.
This is not an Acquired Fanboy podcast, but didn't it make you appreciate Starbucks way more?
I mean, absolutely. I was like enamored with it, with the brand, and then hearing it come from Howard's mouth. Again, he didn't actually start Starbucks.
Sure,
very, very
Which
initially.
I didn't realize actually, which is kind of.
I didn't either. So and the really cool thing I loved. So I've had like Starbucks been around forever. I used to go to Starbucks pretty often. I always liked the aesthetic. I liked being in there.
Yeah.
There was something that was warm about it that brought you in. And probably the last, 5 or 6 years, I'll go in there and I'll order a coffee, just a coffee.
Yeah.
And I'll get put in line with 6 people that aren't there that have ordered on the mobile app.
Yeah.
And I'm like waiting and round, and I'm like, what's going on? And there's like, well, there's orders ahead of you from mobile app. And so to hear him talk about that and the challenges that provided, I was like, justified, because I like complained to my wife. I'm like, it's not the same. Like you go in there, and I was like, he feels the same way. I was like, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
How about you
awesome.
guys?
So for me, it's kind of funny, like, and this is not trying to get like financial or whatever, but I find it interesting. Like we've always been pretty good with our finances, and more recently we've been like, I've been doing more of this like deep dive into like, how can, as I'm getting older, right, you start thinking about like, how can you plan well for like whatever might happen in the future. And so I've been doing a ton of work, and I don't have anything necessarily to shout out other than the fact of like, there is so much BS in the world of like financial advice and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just such basic principles that you should be able to follow to get things done. But then also as you start interviewing, so like I actually just had an interview with a guy that like has done very, very well with how he kind of structured everything, especially when you have a lot of kids, right? Because like the biggest thing that you always find is like, if you have a lot of kids and you have any sort of like wealth transfer that you think is going to happen in the future, you don't want your kids to get, selfish. You don't want, you want to protect it. You want to, be most tax efficient. And so I would just say like the biggest takeaway for me was like, from like the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks of kind of going through this process is like, have a plan. Like it's not bad to start thinking about these things even before you maybe get that sort of wealth or that, or you don't understand if it's going to happen or how it's going to work. Is like actually have a plan where that's going. And I'm not like a big Dave Ramsey guy. You've heard me, make fun of Dave Ramsey or whatever. So I'm not like a big Dave Ramsey guy, but the principles are good, man. Yeah. Like save, don't spend more than you make.
Applies to most of America. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just pretty basic, but Anyway, all that to say, going through this process is like it's
Can
something.
I just say one thing? You're turning 40. Like, it's not a big deal.
I
Planning over here.
not
Like,
not life plan, more like a
should the Lord let me see 41? Like,
yeah. Anyway, all that to say, it's been something that's it's an interesting thing to uncover because you think there's only one way to do it, and then you realize most people are selling snake oil. And they've got like one list of products, and like the S&P is really hard to beat. Yeah. And putting a donor advised fund, all these different things you can do is really cool and interesting. So
yeah.
By you,
mine's kind of again somewhat health related. So I get. I was gonna say I read this. I'm just gonna be honest. I saw it on Instagram as well.
Yeah. You watching yoga on Instagram?
No. I realized after last time I'm not gonna really open myself up to you guys again.
It's a safe place to be. It's okay.
But
unless you say something we can make fun of you. Then it's not a safe place.
Thanks. So you know how like flu season or sickness season starts, and I think most dads kind of just initially when your kids are getting sick, or you see your kids' friends getting sick, or even your friends getting sick, there's the initial part where you're like, I just want to be at arm's length from this person, and then a portion of you is just like, well, let me just plow through this and just you kind of adopt the mind over matter type mentality. So I've always been like mind over matter. I'm not getting sick. I'm not going to get sick. So to be clear, I'm not sick, but what I
little close for you to be telling me this now.
Is it getting hot in here? Because I've been sweating the whole time. But I saw this thing about how to get additional like vitamin C. And it's actually pretty cool. I don't know if
that's a super cool way to say vitamin, by the way.
What?
Say it again.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin C.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Fancy.
That's a fancy vitamin.
That is. Yeah.
But let me throw you onto it. So you've ever had like lemon water where you just like slice a lemon and you squeeze it in like your fingers? Right?
Yeah.
This guy showed this thing where if you get about 24 ounces of water, filtered water, in a blender, and you throw a lemon in there, a whole lemon, skin, the whole thing, blend it all up, and then with a strainer, strain it. That's like 3 days worth of like lemon water that's good for a period of time. And then I've also been adding like coconut water to it. I'm telling you, that's replaced my morning coffee. I chug that in the morning, and I feel like the morning brain fog is just gone. Seriously, try it. Coconut water plus
great.
that lemon water.
Yeah.
I haven't even needed a morning coffee, and I feel so alert like in the mornings.
That's awesome.
So yeah, try it on before you guys make fun of me.
real quick before we outro. Grilling. Do you think you're actually a better does your wife grill at all ever?
No.
Okay, does your wife grill at all?
She will. She needs to. Yeah.
What do you mean she needs to?
No, I said she will if she needs to.
If she needs to. I demand it. It's Thursday. Did you grill yet?
She has a test. She has a test every 2 weeks, and I come around and go, "This is unacceptable. This is acceptable." Yeah, she's getting better.
I have like a dad confession.
Okay.
My wife, I hate admitting it, but my wife is way better at grilling than me.
Huh.
She just is, and I think by and large. That's probably the truth of just like most people. Like a dad, you're like, oh, I'm the grill master. I'm going to go grill. But in reality,
Interesting.
My wife is far better at grilling than me. And when there's a party though, I got to kind of act like I'm and I really don't care.
You
you know what the equivalent is? You know what the equivalent is like when your wife goes to pay like the bill and you're like, actually, can you just slide me the credit card under the table and you make the payment?
I was gonna say, Angie waving her over at the party.
Is this done? When do I put the cheese on?
You thought this was a safe space. You're actually wrong.
No, I just thought it was funny because I think there's a lot of guys posing thinking oh, I'm the grill master. When really their wife's probably a way better at grilling.
Let's be honest. If my wife did it, she would be way better.
Yeah.
But like I said, there is a fanfare and production around making it that just. I need to do it for my own.
You got to own it.
Yeah, you got to own it. Yeah, it's
I don't know.
really
so
good.
maybe I'll defend that and act like that didn't happen.
Not the grill sergeant of your own family.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. All right,
take it
we'll
away,
take
Matt.
Yep. So guys, if you're a new dad, if you're an old dad, or hey, if you're interested in finding out what it's like to be a dad, this is a spot for you. Thank you guys for listening. You can subscribe. You can comment. We would love to hear from you. We would love to answer questions. We want to build a community of like-minded dads. So join the fun. Reach out to us. You can email us at theboardroom@chiefdadofficers.com. And thanks so much for listening.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.